Hey, welcome back to another Moralis video. My name is Bharat, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can leverage our newly launched Volume Stats API in order to get data about volumes for any chain and any token category. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with showing you all the APIs in action, which you can basically find over at moralis.com. And if you're not familiar with Moralis is a crypto terminal that's powered by our data APIs that gives you info about any token across any chain. And as you can see right here, you can see we have got all of the trending tokens along with data about their prices, volumes, market cap, liquidity, holders, transactions, etc. And you can see right here, we've got also the price trend right here where you can basically see how the price has been moving for this particular token over the past 24 hours. And if you actually go into, like, let's say these chains right here, you can basically see we have all network options. You can basically switch across various networks in order to get the tokens on that particular network. So that's what you see right here. We've got all the tokens underneath. And now if you look at top networks, what you see right here is it's actually showing us the top networks by volume. So if you see this, we've got Solana is leading with number one. And if you look at the total volume, it's 1.8 billion. And you can basically see the 7-day volume trend as well for this particular token. And if you basically look at this time frame field, it's basically showing us all of these metrics like the total volume, total traders, total transactions, and total tokens across this particular network. So if you were to switch the time frames, you can see the numbers basically change. And this lets you quickly analyze various chains and find out which chain is actually leading in terms of volume, etc. So I'm going to show you how you can do this with the volume stats API. And apart from just identifying across various chains, I'm also going to show you how you can use it to track various popular narratives. So what you see right here is we've got some of the three popular narratives, and we can see that for the past 24 hours, the volume is maximum on moonshot tokens. Then you've got AI agents. Then you can see we've got Murad's list. And this is actually finding the aggregate volume across these particular tokens. So right now I'm in moonshot tokens. And what you see here is we've got all of the moonshot tokens that belong to this category. And you can see we've got the total volume along with the buy volume and sell volume. And what we're going to be able to do now is if I go into the narratives tab, you can see all the popular narratives. So we've got like the stablecoin narrative, we've got asset backed tokens, we've got wrap tokens, meme tokens, pump fund tokens, etc. So essentially, I'm going to show you how you can get this kind of volume data for all these categories and how you can basically track and even make like this kind of volume trend for these categories and get the data about the total volume, buy volume, sell volume, the buy sells, traders, all of this data. So to get started, what you can do is you can head over to documentation, which is available at docs.moralis.com. So you can see I've got it open right here. And this is basically going to be your single point of reference for all of our APIs. So if you visit docs.moralis.com, you're going to be able to find data or about any of our APIs, including code snippets and resources on how you can actually get started building with our APIs. So now that we're here in the docs, you can head over to EVM API. Since the volume stats API is basically cross-chain, it's going to be the same API that works for both EVM and Solana chains. You're going to have a chain drop-down or something where you can essentially put in or select your chain that you want to get the volume stats for, and that's going to give you all of that data for that particular chain. So I'm going to show you how you can actually use the volume stats API to get this data across both these chains. So you can see right now I'm on EVM API. And now you can click on token API and go to volume stats. So you can see we have found get volume stats here. And if you go into this, you can see we have got 4 new APIs that we just launched related to getting the volume stats. So let's start with the get volume stats by chain. And this is actually by default going to return you all the statistics related to all the chains that we support. So this is going to be really helpful in terms of the chain page that we saw. So if I go into the top networks, you can see we've got all of our supported networks. You can see the volume trend. You can also see like the total volume, total traders, total transactions, etc. So we're going to see how you can use this particular API in order to get all of that data. So you just need to copy your API key from admin.moralis.com. So if you're not familiar with how to get your Moralis API key, you can just click on get API key here. And as soon as you've logged in, you should be able to see your dashboard. And your dashboard contains all the data about your component usage, your API key. You have links to docs, tutorials, etc. straight from here. So you can just copy your API key from here and come back to our docs page and paste your key right here. So you can see I've pasted my key. And now we have got the curl snippet right here. So I'm just going to copy this curl command and I'm going to open up a new terminal window. So there we go. And now let's basically run this API right here. So I'm going to add the JQ flag so it pretty prints. Okay, so we got it. So if you look at the response, let's try to understand what we can actually see. We have got the data or statistics across all of these chains. So you can see like we have got chain ID 0x1, chain ID 0x171. Basically all of the chains which are supported by Moralis, we have now got the volume stats for that particular chain. And if you look at the response, we have got the total volume, we have got the active wallets, we can see the total transactions, etc. And this is showing us all the data across all of our supported chains, which means that you're going to be able to you're basically going to be able to show all of these data that's coming right here. You can see the volume, traders, and transactions. So that's what we basically see. So let me just open the terminal again. There we go. You can also get the active wallets, so which basically ultimately refers to the unique traders. And you can see the total transactions, which is basically this sort of this field you see right here. So that's essentially how you can use the get volume stats by chain API in order to get all of the volume stats for particular chain. So now that we have seen the volume stats by chain, let's head on to our next API, which is ultimately volume stats by category. So if you come to volume stats by category, this is what we're going to be using in order to get the statistics across all the popular narratives. So if I go into the main narratives page, you can see we have got let's say the volume trend, the total volume, buy volume, sell volume, etc. So now that we're here in the volume stats by categories, you can either you can basically select from here. Like right now it's set to ETH, but this field is not compulsory. So if you were to leave this field blank, you can basically get the response for all the categories across that we support. So if I want to just test this out, you can just copy this curl snippet again, and I am going to clear this. So we just do that. Yep. And now let's run this API. There we go. So now we have got the response for all of the categories that are supported on Moralis. And as you can see, we can see wrap tokens, we can see yield aggregator, we can see yield farming. And this is actually what's used right here in order to show this page. So the narrative, the total volume, the buy volume, sell volume, the transactions, traders, all of this is coming from this particular API response. And as you can see, we have got the data for all of this straight from just one API call. And if you want to go into an even granular level and you want to get this data just for a particular chain, you can also filter out that by setting the chain. Like right now I've set it to ETH. And if you were to actually run this API now, you should be able to get only the categories on ETH. So you can see we have got yield farming, we've got yield aggregator, we've got wrap tokens, and it's basically limited all of the analysis for the tokens on ETH. So even if it's analyzing a category, it's actually analyzing only for a specific chain within a category. So this is really helpful when you want to kind of analyze or plot chain-wise distributions for categories as well. Like a lot of the AI agent tokens are on Solana. So you would be able to like see the distribution of how many tokens are on Solana, how many are on Base, all of that. That's super helpful whenever you're like trying to analyze various tokens and plot them in your UI. So that's what you can use in terms of getting all the volume stats by categories. So now that we've seen these two APIs, we can head over to the time series volume by chain. And this is basically what's used. If you go back to our chain page, you can see right here that this is what's used for plotting the volume trend over the past few days. So now we can basically try out the volume time series volume by chain API in order to actually get the trend of volume per chain. So I'm just going to copy this and let's run this again in our terminal. All right. So there we go. So now you can see the time interval set to 1 day and we are now on the ETH chain. You can see this is the URL that we're hitting. You can see that it's basically deep index slash volume slash time series and we have passed the chain equal to ETH. You can also leave this blank and again what it's going to do is it's going to query across all of the chains. So if I were to test live API straight from here, you can see we've got the volume and this is actually showing us the time series volume across all chains. So if you are on the main page, let's see if we've got something here. So if you wanted to just get aggregate volume across all the networks, then you can essentially use this API and not pass chain and it's just going to show you the volume totally across all chains. However, if you put in ETH, you're going to get the volume across ETH. And this is what we see right here. We basically have set the time frame to 1 day. So you're going to get all of the candles and you can see how much is the volume right here. Sorry about the candles. It's actually the line chart. So you can see we've got the time series and we have got volume as well. So essentially you will be able to use that data to plot this kind of a line chart that shows you the volume trends for a particular chain. So that's how you can get the time series volume by chain API in order to actually plot like a distribution of the volume across a chain. So now we can basically head over to time series volume by category and see how we can do this across a particular category as well. So if you look at this now, we are looking at how you can get the distribution for a particular category. So if I go into the main narratives page, you can see we've got volume trends across all of these categories. And we're going to look at how you can actually get the data for plotting this particular volume trend across the category itself. So we've got the category ID. Chain again is a optional parameter. So if you leave this blank, you're going to analyze all the tokens within this artificial intelligence field. So now I'm just going to try copying this curl command and I'll show you this response. So there we go. So now we have basically got all of the data in terms of the buy volume and sell volume along with all the timestamps for this particular token. So it's essentially what you need if you want to plot these kind of volume trends for your particular token as well. So you will essentially be able to plot this kind of a chart that shows like the 7-day volume trend across various categories. And you can essentially analyze the trends across all these categories to find out popular trends, etc. So that's essentially how you can use the time series volume by category API in order to like get the time series volume across all categories. So you can either copy the curl command and run it on your terminal, or you could just hit test live API and you can check it out right from the browser itself. So that's how you can use the time series volume APIs. So we've got them by chain and by category in order to plot these kind of cool looking line charts in your application. Apart from just the time series data, you get the data basically for a chain and categories. So you can basically analyze volume trends for a particular category as well with this particular API. So now that we have covered all of the volume stats API, if you want to read more about this volume stats API, you can check out the changelog. So you can just click on changelog and there we go. So now we are in the volume stats API. This is again a cross-chain API. So you could use it straight away for EVM and Solana straight from anywhere. So if we are on the page, you can basically see that in the response, we will get it for Solana tokens as well. So that's what you see. We've got chain ID Solana and we've got the volume for that. So like I mentioned earlier, you can view the changelog for volume stats right here. And you can basically understand about the key features and potential use cases that you could build using the volume stats API. So if you have any questions related to the volume stats API, feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll be sure to respond to them. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and stay tuned for all of our further videos. So see you on the next one. Thank you.